From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebow. British Columbia's upcoming election has been transformed into a classic right versus left contest, with opposition leader Kevin Falcon's surprise announcement to suspend the campaign of his BC United Party. He's urging supporters to back the rival BC Conservative Party. Falcon says voters had convinced him to rip off the Band-Aid now to prevent splitting the centre-right vote and allowing New Democrats to get re-elected.
I said to John, I may only agree with about 75% of what you might believe in. But I do know this, that on his very worst day, John Rustad would be a far better premier than David Eby on his very best day.
Falcon says the two parties will work together to assemble the best possible team of candidates. Lawyers will argue in court today in Lethbridge, Alberta, on their ideas of a fitting sentence for two men convicted for their roles at the 2022 border blockade near Coutts. Anthony Olenek and Chris Carbert were found not guilty of conspiracy to murder police officers, but a jury this month found the men guilty of mischief and possessing a weapon for a dangerous purpose. Olenek was also convicted of possessing a pipe bomb. The charges stemmed from Mounties finding a cache of weapons, ammo, and body armor near the blockade site. The Canadian government says it respects Mexican sovereignty and does not intend to intervene over proposed constitutional reforms. Global Affairs Canada put out a statement last night in response to Mexico's president, saying this week that he was pausing Mexico's relations with the U.S. and Canadian embassies for their interfering in some proposed reform conversation. Saskatchewan school divisions say they're making sure teachers follow the province's pronoun rules as kids head back to class next week. Students under 16 require parental consent if they want to change their names or pronouns. Jason Coleman, superintendent of student achievement at Regina Public Schools, says the division is enforcing the law while also respecting students.
Compliance looks like we're being respectful of our students, but we're also being respectful of our parents within the legislation that exists. And I got to tell you, even before the legislation, we strove, we worked towards, we tried to include parents in all things that we did.
Saskatoon Public Schools says it's also enforcing the rule. Donald Trump's campaign team is defending the photo op held by the former U.S. president at Arlington National Cemetery on Monday during a remembrance ceremony. His Republican running mate, J.D. Vance, is defending him. Reporter Perry Russum has more.
There is verifiable evidence that the campaign was allowed to have a photographer there.
Video includes Trump criticizing the Biden administration's handling of the withdrawal. Some families of fallen soldiers buried at Arlington say they allowed Trump to photograph the event, but federal law prohibits political campaign or election-related activities within Army National Military Cemetery.
This is the Canadian Press. In sports, the first medals of the 2024 Paralympics will be handed out in Paris today. Canadian swimmer Aurélie Rivard could be in contention in women's 50-meter freestyle. The 28-year-old from Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu, Quebec, set both world and Paralympic records in the S10 category back in 2016. She already has 10 Paralympic medals. Bowden Francis will take the mound tonight as the Toronto Blue Jays look to bounce back in Boston. The Red Sox shut out the Blue Jays 3-0 yesterday as Brian Bayo pitched 8 innings of 2-hit ball for his second win since the All-Star break. In tennis, Montreal's Gabriel Diallo is back on the court today, taking on Arthur Fils of France in the second round of the U.S. Open. The 22-year-old is the only Canadian remaining in the singles draw. In today's women's doubles action, Ottawa's Gabriela Dabrowski and Erin Rutleff defend their championship title as they take on Leylah Fernandez and her Kazakhstan partner. From the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebow.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.